Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the stream. Sorry we're a bit late. Many technical difficulties and link difficulties and character sheet difficulties and difficulties, in short. But we're finally ready to start. Quick bit of background for any new viewers. The game is Dragon Warriors. It's an old school British RPG from the early to mid 80s that was originally published in paperbacks. It's very steeped in British and European folklore. It's a pretty simple game. The main selling point for it is the background. It feels real. If you're grounded in kind of British folklore and mythology, it feels familiar. Like the old Robin of Sherwood TV series, things like that. That's what it brings to mind for me, at least. Right, our characters are all bearers of Valandar's weapons. Now, Valandar is kind of the King Arthur equivalent in this world. He's sleeping in a cave beneath the forest, had these swords around him. These characters took them on. They reward them for honourable and selfless behaviour, basically, sort of chivalrous behaviour, punish them for not doing it, and also as a handy plot device for an irregular game, they kind of bring them together when needed to deal with things. So, I'm going to have to change this slightly because the game we're playing in is in spring, but right. None but the bravest.
When knights were bold.
Yes.
They tied great socks around their cocks and children were prevented. I should have been a bard rather than an assassin.
No bards. None but the bravest or most desperate of men would risk a passage north to Port Beltane in stormy weather. Storms make the rocky islands of the White Coast still more dangerous than usual, and there's no truly secure anchorage between Clyster, where you embarked, and Beltane. Yet you find yourselves in the retinue of Baron Aldred, riding out a snarling gale in a late, unusual snowstorm off Cape Cairngorm, at a time when you would much prefer to be feasting in his great hall and celebrating. This is a mission of crucial importance to the Baron, after the assassination attempt upon him. Duke Carnas, with whom he hopes to strike an alliance against his foes in the south, is wintering in Beltane. Well, not wintering, I guess late springing. Thus, though the journey is perilous at the moment, it must be made. Eventually, the storm abates, but the Linden, the vessel you're on, has lost her mast and is taking on water. The crew man the oars and manage to drag her into shore. Baron Aldred consults with the captain in the sort of slanting cabin, and they look towards a line of fir trees along the coast, obviously intending to beach nearby and gather timber to rig a jury mast for the last leg to Port Beltane. So the Lindens dragged ashore, rowed ashore in a sheltered bay, and as you pull into it, you're startled to sight a ruined citadel, partially covered by the trees and the scree and everything else here, so that it wasn't really visible from out to sea. The citadel seems half flooded by the tide along the coast. As the ship makes shore, the Baron calls you to his side in the captain's cabin. He's a fairly impressive figure, Aldred. He fought in the Crusade, acquitted himself well. He's a fairly no-nonsense fighting man, but also a fairly shrewd tactician and politician. Ah, my heroes.
My lord.
Thank you for following me on this dangerous journey. But after the assassination attempt that you uncovered against me, I feel that you're some of the only men I can truly trust. Well, and women. We've been forced to pull in here to make repairs to the ship, but we weren't anticipating there being a fortification on the shore. It seems abandoned, but you know as well as I that brigands, bandits, goblins, God knows what else, may have sought shelter there themselves, and even they see a nice fat ship come in, they may well set their sights on our stores and our weapons and our very flesh. We wouldn't want to be ambushed while we're making our repairs, so as we tentatively start, I would like you to investigate that fortress, slay whatever dangerous creatures lurk there, but make sure that you return and report, whatever the case. If you encounter something more overwhelming, sailors can take arms and come with you. Salvage what you can. And do your best. We'll try and get the ship ready to leave.
Yes, my lord.
Aye.
Yes, my lord.
Seems like an easy task.
Have we lost someone again?
On here.
No,
Don't think so.
no, it's just my preview window's not showing everybody for some reason. Okay, never mind. Google Hangout seems to be having a bit of a spaz this evening, but hopefully we'll be alright. Okay, so, yeah. Anything you want to check or do before you follow your orders?
I'm good. But, I'm probably underthinking it.
I'll go over my backpack, make sure that everything's all tip-top, all ready.
Yep. Okay, so you all gather and check your gear.
Would it be possible to get some rope from the ship?
Yes, there's plenty of rope on a ship.
Cool.
Can I finally find somebody who will sell me a bow?
Maybe.
Maybe.
If you want a bow, I'll buy you one.
Because I was looking through the book, and apparently, knights are really good with bows.
Yes, they can be.
Have never used one, so let's give that a shot.
Okay.
I have a crossbow you can borrow, but I want it back after
Not-
this adventure.
Not a crossbow. The crossbow is not covered by this skill. It says.
Right. It's an hour's slog of a march through the dense, sort of snow and sleet-clad woodland. There doesn't seem to be even the remnants of a path left here, though you do find the occasional, squared-off stone here and there sticking out of the leaf litter. But it's about an hour's march through the wet and the cold to the walls of the ancient citadel. It's built out of monolithic blocks of limestone, many of which have begun to drip and form tiny stalactites as they've dissolved in the rain and run down. The place is of a very strange architecture that you find utterly alien. As big blocks as possible seem to have been used and fit together in a kind of irregular pattern. Stepping between the broken timbers of the gate, your awe and fear grow ever stronger. This is truly a place of death. Strewn about the entrance and across the plaza are countless mouldered bones, rusting weapons and armour. In the shadow of the arch sits an old man clad in rags and a grey hood. He's smoking on a long corncob pipe and glances up as you clamber over and make your sound, but beneath the hood his eyes are milky and white. Seems like he's blind.
These bones to which you refer, due to my background as a monster hunter, do I have any insight into this? Looks like the kind of bones that are due to things being ripped apart by very strong monsters, or do these look like possibly these sorts of things that might come from a normal human on human sort of aftermath to a battle, or do I have no insight into that sort of thing?
What's your intelligence?
My intelligence is 13.
They're so old and moulded and rotten, it's hard to really tell. From the position of the bodies, though, you guess there was some kind of battle or clash here.
Okay.
I'm more interested with the old man. I'll probably approach him and say, "Old man, what are you doing here so far from shelter?"
I'm the gatekeeper. I keep the gate.
And where does this gate lead to, my lord? My dear friend.
He gestures with his hand generally towards the interior of the fortress. The keep, my lord's keep. Lord Kavala's fortress.
Does that name ring a bell in my grey noggin?
No.
Anyone ever heard of him? Out to the rest
Sorcerer.
of the life.
Sorcerer might have. What's the sorceress's intelligence? Anyone?
Is she
Beulah?
with us?
Yeah, you got the sorceress with you.
Yeah, I'll look at the sources if she would know. Is anyone playing her?
Thought someone was. No?
No reply.
No, someone's
Yeah.
playing as the warlock though. That's
Yeah.
all.
Warlock, barbarian, assassin,
Knight.
knight.
So-
Yeah, okay, so no one is playing the sorcerer. Someone said they were. Oh, okay. I got confused. Never mind. No, none of you know anything about this.
And who is this lord of who you speak?
Lord
Ask him.
Kavala. I hold the
You
gate
don't
till
know
he
that
returns. None of you know that name.
So
The blind
We
old man
have
takes
one-
another tug on his pipe.
we have a blind man who is the guardian of a gate which belongs to a lord we've never heard of.
And judging by the state of the place, it's been quite some time since anyone was here.
And how long have you been the guardian of this gate, my dear friend?
Since the place was abandoned, I wait for my lord to return.
And how long
Oh,
have you
now
been waiting?
things are starting to make sense.
I do not know.
When did you last speak to him, roughly?
When he left,
And how long ago was that? How many days?
I do
Weeks?
not know.
What have you been eating all this time?
That which makes itself available to me. He smiles slightly.
Good lord. Must be malnourished. Your lord clearly isn't coming back.
How can you say such a thing to me? I have devoted my life to guarding this gate.
I
you
say
not serve
such
a lord?
thing to you. Well, of course I do. Sir, I've
Then you
seen
should-
him with my eyes.
Then you should know
Oh.
the meaning of loyalty.
Loyalty to a man who's likely dead. It seems
You should
preposterous
not
to me.
mock a blind man either.
I'm not mocking you, merely stating a fact.
Grandfather, would it be possible to scout for parts to repair our vessel? Anything that isn't being used, maybe discarded?
You would raid my lord's abode?
The thought never crossed our minds. We was asking for permission if
I-
such cast-offs could be allowed.
I cannot give you permission. Only my lord could give you permission.
Understood. And I'll go and hide behind the larger party members.
Just walk back to the party members out of earshot of the old man. What are
And
the
that.
chances that we could convince him that we have permission from his lord?
So Becca just reflects on the tactical situation. So we have a knight, a barbarian, a warlock, and an assassin. Yeah.
Yeah,
And a knave.
and a knave.
I'm
So
thinking
I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
This keep was described as partially falling down in partial ruins.
Yeah.
Is there any reason why we should not suspect that there is another way in, not abusing this man's portal?
Yes, you could go and find another way in, probably.
To at least take a look? Is there anything worth examining here? If he's not going to move, then he doesn't seem like a threat. Yes?
That's a good idea.
And if he's only guarding a single portal, then he doesn't seem to have grounds to object to us walking through a hole in the wall around back. Maybe he would, maybe he wouldn't. He seems of a legalistic frame of mind.
Which might give us a way in. If there are no other members of the household, that would mean he would be in charge. If we could maybe butter him up, he might be persuaded to give us permission anyway.
Yes, Maddock, maybe you can butter him up, Maddock. And Yannick and I will have a look around the curtain wall.
I have another question. Why do we need permission?
Because it's his land.
His lord clearly doesn't exist.
Well,
What?
perhaps not,
You
but
could just enter without his permission.
it seems like an oath given should be respected unless we have a real good reason not to.
Well, think about this.
Always best to leave friends behind rather than angry people wanting their money back, I've found.
Exactly.
Okay, so if I go through my rations and I pick out some of the more succulent and better parts of that, rather than, the dry ship's biscuit and stuff. And if I approach the gatekeeper and I'll ask him I'll offer to share the meal. And ask for his permission as the ranking member of the household here. Okay. Again, we do not wish to steal.
He eagerly eats the food and says, as the keeper of the household, I suppose, just do not take too much.
That's very gracious of you, sir.
And I would be careful. This is a cursed place. Death lies in wait here for those who don't love my Lord Kavala.
Could we ask you anything about him? Is there a particular ethos he follows?
He lives for cunning and tactics and distraction. He lives for games.
Games.
So he enjoys a challenge then.
He raises a hand and points towards the interior. And you can't help but look, but then when you glance back, he's just gone.
Ah.
But you seem to have managed to negotiate permission and a threat.
That's life.
Good show.
Are you ready to head in? Do you want to head in?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So you pass through the remnants of the gatehouse, a little perturbed. Passing the gate into the citadel, you walk into a long processional avenue lined with the broken ruins of mighty buildings. Rubble partially blocks the wide carriageway, and there are signs of widespread burning, lots of ash and blackened beams of indeterminate age. More bones are scattered in the wreckage, but these may or may not be human, you're not sure.
Are they new? Is there anything recent?
Some of them are a bit fresher, yeah.
I ready my bow.
The citadel is full of shadows in the weak sunlight, and high clouds threaten more snow or sleet or rain. The wind makes a constant keening sound as it rushes between the fallen columns. A large seagull flaps away, alarmed by your approach. Your unease builds as you near the main square. In the centre of the square of the fortress is a black obelisk, 12 paces broad at the base, and it dominates the entire square. Its surface is covered with geometric patterns, entwined glyphs, and a script whose like you've never before seen. The air is tense with the watchful calm that presages danger. If this obelisk is the Tower of Kavala, you can find no sign of any entrance, so perhaps it is merely a monolith. About the square stand more buildings ravaged by fire and decay and high tides, all of the same monolithic construction, though despite that, they're still fallen to ruin. Two structures strike you as especially interesting. The first is a small hexagonal edifice with a domed roof, set atop a large square plinth. The other is the inner fortress, with 4 massive square stone towers. For a moment you think your eyes catch movement, as if someone was standing at a high window in the fortress and ducked back out of sight as you looked up. So at the moment you're in the centre of this square. There's 2 almost entirely ruined buildings in a sort of bracket L shape around the square to the northwest and the southeast. There's this building with the dome, which feels like a temple of some kind, to the northeast. And there's the big monolithic square fortress to the southwest.
The possible sign of life has my attention, and I check with my compatriots to see if anyone else saw that.
I did indeed. But, you think it's wise to go chasing after these apparitions?
Well, it must at least be investigated.
Yeah, I suppose so.
That was what the Baron charged you with.
That's true.
Is that where you all want to go first then, the fortress?
May as well.
What's your marching order?
I suppose I'll walk in the front.
Well, is there any reason why my background would lead me to believe that I should be the Pathfinder?
I mean, you can fulfill the role of both caster and fighter, but you're not hugely brilliant at either. And you've got 2.
No, I just meant, does Monster Hunter sort of equate to sort of a ranger role, and therefore
more like a Witcher, really.
Okay. Well, I will trust the knight's opinion on marching order then.
Okay.
Caesora is the scout. Aren't you, Caesora? You can go first.
Sneaking. Okay. Well, we'll assume that Caesora's kind of scouting, and then the more obvious group goes Knight, Warlock, Barbarian. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Right. So you cross the square. You're not sure whether it's just that you've walked closer, but the sound of the waves seems to be louder as you cross the square and get closer to the other side. You notice that the ground here is damp, and there are bits of dried seaweed here and there across the square. So particularly high tides probably flood through the whole place.
Do we have a feel for where we are in the cycle of tides?
Close to the high spring tides, so you've probably got a limited amount of time before the water comes back in, but judging by the markings and the sort of tide line, you should be able to wade regardless, so it's not anything hugely urgent. Okay. The wreckage of wide wooden gates blocks the entrance to the fortress. It looks pretty rotten and lousy with sand fleas as well, and there's a lot of dried seaweed clumped up around it. It does, from where you are, seem to be the only way in, however.
How do the doors look? Do they look like they've sort of been irradiated over the waves, or are the doors still intact? Or
the doors have fallen in on themselves. There's just like a mangled pile of broken boards and rusty iron nails and bolts. It's just in the way.
Right. Okay. So basically, do we have to move any of the wood to actually get in through the doorway, or can we just climb over?
You think you could probably climb over it. You're just a bit worried that the wood's so rotten it might give way under you, but then you're not going to fall very far. So,
Right, I'll start moving some of the wood.
okay.
Yes, I'll give him a hand. It's always better to have a clear path when it's easy to do so.
Yeah. Between the lot of you, assuming you're all chipping in, you manage to move it. The wood on top is dry, and the rot is well and truly set in. It's almost like crumbling under your fingers, so it's very easy to move. The wood towards the bottom is wet and swollen, and also breaks up when you move it, but it's a lot heavier. But still, you manage to carve a path through the broken doors to the interior without too much trouble.
Okay.
So, clambering past the broken timber, you come into a courtyard surrounded by blackened, scorched walls and choked with battered masonry, upon which may be seen long fronds of dried seaweed. A few stagnant pools add to the air of desolation, with a few sickly crabs moving around within them. The block surrounding the courtyard is reduced to a gutted shell, but the four towers are marginally more intact. It's the northernmost tower where you thought you saw the face in the window.
How far away is it, roughly?
Not very far at all. The courtyard is maybe 75 meters across. Maybe. Probably less. Yeah, close to 50 meters across.
I'll look at the others and say, do you want me to scoot ahead?
Yeah.
Silence is assent.
Yep.
I'll
Stick
think
into the
whether
shadows. Stick into the shadows. I'll work my way to the northernmost keep, which we saw like.
Yeah. Okay.
I'll be keeping an eye behind the group in case we get waylaid or distracted or anything.
Yeah.
Okay.
The entrance tunnel is pretty low, and the stairwell of the tower is damp and dark, even with the gaping holes in the walls and roof. The staircase is pretty decayed, and you're not sure that you trust it entirely to hold your weight.
If I take my backpack off, do you reckon I could get up the stairway?
It'd be a bit safer, yeah.
Yeah. Right. Who's behind me? Or have I-
Sir Alain, I think, is the next
Right.
behind you, just sort of standing
I'm going to
guard.
look
Okay.
at the stairwell and then look at me wearing plate armor.
I'll put my backpack at his feet and say, keep an eye on this. I'll put my backpack down.
I don't think I'm going to be climbing any stairs and
Yeah,
wearing
that's
this
why I'm giving you
anytime
my
soon.
backpack. That's why I'm giving you my backpack to keep an eye on. I'll put my backpack down at his feet and stealthily, cautiously go up the stairwell.
Okay, what's your stealth rating?
Quite good, because I'm an assassin by trade. Stealth rating, stealth 19.
19. Okay. All right, you clamber silently up the stairs, sort of keeping a hand on the wall, testing each step, making sure you're
Yep.
standing on the strongest part. As part of your stealth training is to stay on those parts because they make the least creaking sound. The stairs, it's a combination of wood and stone. It's the wood that's rotten, the stone's fairly solid. But by moving very, very carefully and slowly, as much for stealth as anything else, you manage to make your way up. At the top, it opens out on what probably used to be, separate rooms, but the walls are largely broken in and the roof is bowing in on itself. You see a woman dressed in a white gown standing by part of the broken down bit where she probably was the one looking down on you from above. She has her back to you, tangled white hair, this white blonde hair sweeping down, and a white gown in a very old-fashioned style, sort of a loose smock dress with a gilt rope around the middle as a belt.
Does it look like a lady's dress or a servant's dress?
It's a lady's dress.
A lady's dress. Oh, sort of like coughing my hands, like
Okay.
to get her attention.
She turns towards you, and from the fairly beautiful vision from behind, you're faced with a complete horror. Her skin's all burnt and peeling. There's no eyes, and her face sort of opens up, and an unearthly scream and shriek, which you all hear down below as well, sounds out, and the floor and the stairs collapse under you.
Out.
What's your armor factor?
My armor factor is padded. Armor type.
So that's
armor
1.
factor 2.
Yeah.
2.
2?
Yeah.
It's Gambus on padded. Yeah, that's right. Okay. And what's your evasion?
7.
Okay. Yeah, everything gives way. You manage to kind of throw yourself back against the wall and slow your fall somewhat, though you take the skin off your fingertips doing so. Yeah. And you land amongst all the fallen masonry at the bottom, take 2 health points of damage.
Ouch. Also, I'll stand back up, dust myself down, go,
yeah.
I think we've got ourselves a problem, gentlemen.
A load of foul-smelling dust and soot sort of billows out the door at the bottom and engulfs the lower level after the rockfall.
Oh, we were attacked?
No, I was screamed at, and I'll laugh.
I didn't
tell us, what did you see?
I'll describe what I saw. Beautiful lady from behind, and I coughed in my hand, and it turned around, and I saw a decaying midden of a creature which words can't describe. Let's just say she's not as good looking as she is from the back. I'll chuckle.
In the school, we should slay it.
Is this by any chance a type of monster that I might have heard legends of, or possibly even you, someone who came across before?
It sounds to you like a specter, an evil, vengeful ghost that gets attached to a place where some atrocity or horror has taken place.
Perhaps it's a specter. What do I know about specters? For instance, will my arrows actually do anything to it?
They're ghosts. They're intangible. Only magical or blessed weapons or magic spells can hurt them. Mostly they're terrifying is the main thing. They cause terrible fear, unnatural levels of fear in people, but can also exert some control over their environment.
Okay. Sounds a bit like a specter. Fear is their weapon. Only magic will prevail.
Like a magical sword?
Yes, we can trust in it.
This would be where I stow the bow and pull the sword, definitely.
Though the stairs have collapsed, so to get up you'd have to climb, which would render you rather vulnerable.
Well, I'll tell you what. I'll climb up a second time, but this time I'm going to take my rope. Does my rope cover the stairs? 10 meters of rope?
Yeah, it would take you up to the first landing. Yeah.
Okay. I'll take my rope. I'll take my rope and climbing gear with me this time, and start climbing my way back up cautiously and stealthily again.
Before you do this, I stop you and just ask: did you see anything else of value or importance up there?
I'll just describe what I saw, James.
You didn't, but she was standing at the edge of a balcony. There might be something out there, but you didn't see anything other than rot and ruin.
Yeah. She was the only thing I saw.
Do you even think it is worthwhile, especially this specter? It doesn't look like anybody else comes out this way.
Well, it's up to you. If you want me to go back up and take my rope with me, you can stay down here, Tin Man, and we'll take her on. Or I can. Can we see the balcony from the outside?
Yes, but without a spyglass, you're not going to make out enough detail to tell if there's anything much up there.
What is the masonry like on this tower? Could we climb up the outside of this tower?
They're big stones. So it's not like there's tons of brick gaps in the brickwork or anything. But
If you fell.
you could climb up. It's just if you fall, it's gonna sting a bit.
Well, do you want me to climb up from the outside this time with my rope? Do you think that's wise? Do you want me to climb out? Judging by, is it more safe to climb on the outside than the inside, or the inside than the outside, James?
Probably the inside.
The inside's probably safer. Well,
Right,
apart from the specter.
Yeah.
From what I know of what I've heard, possibly of specters, is it possible that there is some sort of anchor that holds the spirit here that might be identified?
In some cases, it might be. Their remains is quite common, but in this case, you would think it's most likely the building itself. So short of destroying the whole place, you don't think you could get rid of it that way.
So the building is our anchor of this world, then?
If you had to guess.
Yeah, that's what I'm guessing.
Do I believe that the specter is likely to leave the place that is their anchor?
Not without being destroyed.
No. Never fear, Yannick. We have defeated a powerful undead before.
I'm merely suggesting that perhaps we might investigate a bit further the other towers before we come back.
Yeah.
I'm
to
really
deal with
saying it
this.
doesn't seem permanent to our quest.
Well,
Our quest
it
was
does.
to
It does in the
investigate
sense
this
of
place and find something for a boat. That was it.
well, we were told to investigate this ruin and deal with any threats we find. So,
Oh, that was it. Yeah, then definitely let's go kill it.
okay,
Well, yeah,
I will
yeah.
bow to the knight's authority here. Then,
Okay. As you should, under a feudal system.
exactly.
Yeah,
Don't
but
listen to him.
is there any reason to think that
Completely lost track of what we were doing again.
that this particular lady needs the stairs? Because she might have trapped herself up there and nullified her own threat.
You don't think spectres follow Dalek rules, no?
Worth a try.
Non-corporeal.
Oh, it's going to be one of these days. Oh,
So you're going to climb up with the rope, inside or outside then?
inside this time.
Inside. Okay.
Stealthily doing it again. Going back up stealthily again.
It's a bit difficult to climb stealthily while carrying a rope, but yeah. Okay. You tie the rope around your middle and start to climb. I take it the rest of you are watching from the bottom?
Are there many loopholes inside the tower to climb up? Or any nooks or
There's
crannies?
more. There's bits of the stairs left, which makes it easier to climb. So it seems like your assassin friend is managing the climb fairly easily.
Who's the best
Would,
climber?
would my knave be able to assist him in any way, any meaningful way? I do have the climbing skill, but I'm just not very good at it in and of itself.
You could stop the rope shifting around and getting tangled on things. See if you could hold the bottom and sort of move it to make things easier for him.
Do that then.
Okay, you get up to the top without the spectre attacking you, and tie off the rope on the most solid, piece of remaining masonry that you can find, and then the rest of you should be able to climb up without too much hindrance. As long as your reflexes is 6 or higher, you can climb the rope, no problem.
Ah.
And I think that's true
Yes.
of everybody.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so one by one, you clamber up and haul yourselves onto the floor. The masonry makes a slight grinding noise. You don't think you want to stay up here too long, but you are all up.
Is that including Tin Man?
Yes, you can move surprisingly well in plate armor.
Draw my sword. Where is this spectre?
I like you, Cesora. I'll buy you a mead when we're finished.
There's no sign of her at the moment.
I'll scan around, looking around in the shadows, see if she's hiding in any of the shadows.
Not that you can see, but the shadows seem unusually deep, unusually dark, and unusually long.
Stealthily, where she was standing, when she turned around to face me with a beautiful look and her voice, I'll go towards the balcony, stealthily.
Okay. Right. Yeah, you get there. There's the smoke damage. Sort of looks like the smoke sort of poured out of here and deposited a lot of soot around the edges. Looks like there used to be a door out onto this balcony, and so just beyond that is the balcony itself. Though it looks a bit rickety. On one side, on both sides of the balcony, cut back into the walls, two alcoves. Which one of them seems to contain a bunch of earthenware pots, and the other one contains what looks like a drum and a cup, both of which seem weirdly untarnished.
Interesting.
How far away is the drum and cup from me?
Not far, but you will have to step out onto the balcony to reach them.
Okay, I'll do it cautiously and stealthily. Make sure.
Do you guys have another rope you could?
I was going to say yes. Perhaps rope would be a good thing to use here.
Okay.
Yeah, give me a line. I'll hold the other end of the line.
Okay, sounds like a plan.
Okay, so you tie the rope around your middle, and a couple of the others of you hold onto the line.
Yep.
Right, you ease your way around carefully and get within sight of the drum and the cup. When then there's another unnatural shriek, and the balcony gives way under you and falls away. You plummet only a couple of meters and then end up swinging on the end of the rope.
Oh, good plan. That worked.
Yeah, good plan.
Where's the threat? I'm holding the rope and looking for the threat.
Pull him up.
Okay, you start to haul on it, and as Caesaurus is sort of being hauled up jerk by jerk, the spectre's burnt and horrific face appears through the wall, and she reaches out towards you. You can't really defend yourself when you're dangling from a rope.
I can use my fists and my feet.
Try to pull him up faster.
Yeah.
Jerks though we may be.
Your armor was 2, wasn't it?
Yep, armor was 2.
Yeah. Right. Oh dear. How much health do you have, by the way?
11.
Okay. Right. So yeah, as you're hauled up, her face appears. You start swinging and trying to land a blow on her, but your hand just sort of passes through her and doesn't seem to touch anything. But when she touches you, sort of grabbing your face with her burnt hand, it sears like ice right down to the bone. Lose 10 health points.
Fucking hell.
And then you're hauled back up to the others, and there's no sign of her.
What's happened to the drum and cup? Are they down at the bottom now?
No, they're still in the alcove, which is just around the side. So, yeah, if you really want to risk it, you could try climbing across to them, but you probably need some medical attention.
Can anyone heal?
Yes.
Does anybody know how to heal?
I have the heal injury in my spellbook, which I will immediately employ.
Okay. You don't need to roll anything, just spend a magic point. How much does it heal?
Recover 1d4 hit points.
Recover 3 health points.
Oh, you're so kind, James. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay. Where she touched you, it's like your face has been frostbitten in the shape of a hand, and where the tips of her fingers touched your hair, it's gone white at the root.
Is my beard gone white as well?
Just the very top part of it and your moustache.
So it's like me in real life. If you see me in real life,
Yes.
we whiskers.
Yeah. Me too.
Comes with age, James. Comes with age.
You can kind of feel her presence watching you still.
Yannick, do we have any? Yannick, do you have any talisman or any sort of warding that we could use in the situation?
Drawing my short sword
Okay.
and hiding. If that will do any good.
What is actually in the room as well? Again?
In the room, just rubble.
And some treasure in the alcove.
Yeah, but
Drumming up,
getting out to that without
drumming
being
up.
jobbed by the specter is the problem.
Looks like we're going to have to kill the spectre before we try to get the treasure from the alcove.
Is it possible to maybe hook them with a
As in,
rope?
like, through them.
Yeah.
Well, it would be very risky. It would be easier to knock them, and they
Would probably break.
well, they're untarnished and they're unburned, unlike everything else here. So, and magic items tend to be quite tough if they're magical. So you probably could, get a length of rope and sort of whip it round the corner to knock them.
Because
How far is it over the edge to this alcove?
Only about half a metre. But the things are back in the alcove, so you really need to get out and around to reach them.
Is there any other stairs going up, or is there any way which...
There's broken fragments of stairs going up to another high-ceilinged floor and then presumably to the roof, but the stairs here aren't particularly reliable.
Yeah, I guess so.
I've got the jumping proficiency.
Mm-hmm.
Do I think I would be nippy enough to jump over to there, grab stuff and jump back?
The trick would be grabbing hold of the ledge.
Yeah.
So, let me have a quick look at your character sheet.
Because...
you're not of a stout build.
Oh no.
I don't-
Metagaming wise, one hit from that thing will kill me.
Well, it's random damage, remember, so you might not be hurt quite so badly.
Yeah.
But yeah, knowing people's luck, probably not. Let's have a look. You do have the leaping proficiency skill thing. Your reflexes is 11.
Cool.
You
My
reckon it's
intelligence
about 50-50 that you could grab onto the ledge? But if you've got a rope tied to you, then the worst that's going to happen is the spectre's going to eat your face. So at least you won't fall.
Well,
Well, if I take a run and jump with this rope around my waist, because I've not got the jumping ability, but I've got reflexes at 16.
Hmm.
Do you reckon I could make it?
You got better chance than him, despite lacking the proficiency, just because of your because you're the height of your reflexes.
Do you want me to risk that then? Do you want to try that?
As opposed to that, either one of us could easily be killed.
Yeah.
Yes.
True.
Is it worth possibly coming back for these items? We know where they are. They're not going anywhere.
I think we should draw the spectre out and kill it.
Okay, you go and face it then, Tim, man. You go and
Is it-
face it.
Is I don't mind standing near the ledge. I have a big sword with a long reach I could perhaps attack it as someone else is leaping across.
Yep. You could sort of stand ready to intercept if it appears again.
I think that's the best plan. I think if Maddock ties a line off and jumps,
Yeah.
I'll guard his rear.
So that way you've got the rope and a hulking great barbarian with an enormous magical sword backing you up.
That improves my chances, yes.
Okay. Are we agreed? So rope,
Yep.
barbarian standing ready. Cool. Right.
Operation Bait the Hook commence.
Right.
I'll draw my sword and stand ready.
Madrock backs up with the rope tied around him and tied off. Runs as sort of oblique as possible, an angle out, and sort of hooks onto the side of the wall and swings around and manages to grab on to the alcove.
Oh, well done.
And sort of wedge the edge of your boot into a crack.
Oh, you did the rolls?
Yes.
Oh, excellent. I won't need me.
It's
Try
fine.
then. Cool.
Yeah. For attacks and stuff, I'll let you do them. But yeah, it's just
Okay.
quicker and easier for stuff like this if I do it.
Cool.
Right. So yeah, you start hauling yourself up. You all feel the air chill again, and then the specter's face and flowing hair start to appear out of the wall again.
I'd prefer to jump if I could, because I think it would be faster.
Okay, but Becca has a chance to make an attack. Okay, what's your attack?
Oh no, I missed 18.
Yeah, you missed by a lot. Yeah. Okay, you swing and miss, but it does draw the specter's attention onto you.
Coming in.
Right. Just a sec. I need to get everyone's reflexes because we're into normal sort of turns now. So yes, combat music time.
Why do I sense the music of Conan the Barbarian in my head? I'll never know.
I was thinking more of the Star Trek fight scene. Da 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 da.
We definitely fought. We're up against a fucking bird of prey. That's what we're up against.
I ready that double-handed punch that should break all of his knuckles, but somehow always knocks out the guy he's fighting. Yeah.
Sorry, give me a sec.
Make sure you're holding a magic weapon when you do that.
Right. Absolutely.
Oh.
That's weird. The order I had your characters written out was almost their initiative order anyway. Okay. So, situation is Madrock is holding on to the balcony as best he can with the rope coming off him, and the spectre started to phase out through the wall, and Becca the barbarian took a swing and missed. So, new turn, going in initiative order. Caesora the assassin, what do you wish to do?
Is there any way of sort of like taking like a side attack, so sort of like a pincher move, like from the side?
Two of you can stand in the sort of balcony entrance. Becca's already taking up half of it.
Yeah.
What weapon do you carry?
I'm carrying the sword of Balada, or however you pronounce it. The short sword. It doesn't say if I'm ambidextrous or not. I don't know if I can use two weapons. But if I can use two weapons, I'll have the
if it doesn't say, then you can't really.
Right, I'll just stick to using my short sword then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can't really reach at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
So
Okay, well, I'll let one of the other guys go first, as they would say, as I'm like
so
sizing them up, like trying to find
hang fire ready.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. So Elaine. What's Sir Elaine going to do?
I'm gonna hit something with my sword when I see it.
Okay. So you're just going to wait as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Neither of you have long weapons. Okay. Right. The specter, for her part, turns her attention away from Madrock and rises up so that she's floating just outside the entrance and reaching in towards you. So the people who are in the entrance, Becca is there but can't go yet. Cizora went first and went closer, so Cizora can make the attack now that he was holding on to. So what is your attack score?
Attack score. Well, that would be. What's attack score? What is that under?
Attack and defense.
Attack is 14, defense is 7. So that's
Okay, so your attack is 14. Take away half of defense because she's having to split it. So you need to roll 1 to 8 on a d20.
Okay, no problem. I've just got 17.
Okay. Understandably horrified and not wanting to be touched again, you hold back a bit, and because she's kind of floating and flying, you fail to land the blow. Right.
Is it best to get high or low in this game? Because I've never played this game.
Low.
Right. Okay.
Right. She screams again, and the walls shake and rattle, and dust falls down, and she reaches towards Becca. What's Becca's defense?
10.
She lays her hand upon you. What's your armor rating?
4.
4. Past your armor. She chills you to the bone, takes 6 health of damage.
Ouch.
Ouch.
Yeah. So her hand passes sort of through your chest, and you feel your lungs tightening and your heart slowing as she's screaming right in your face. But it is your turn.
Oh, is it going to reciprocate? Die, foul fiend.
Right, what's your attack?
Oh no, I got 18 again.
So miss pretty much regardless. Okay, so you sort of scramble back in a panic, just trying to stab with the sword because you don't want to hit any of the others, but failing to land a blow. Right, Madrock, who's been left hanging.
Yes.
Grab the things.
I'm not too worried about the things at the moment. Is the short sword small enough I can throw it as a dagger at the spectre?
And she is kind of right next to you and just slightly up from you, so you can.
Oh right, okay.
Stab her up the skirt.
That's not at all troubling. Okay, I'll have, in that case, I'll try to have her leg off.
What's your attack?
It is 11. Oh, 11? Yes, 11.
But she's not defending against you, so you just need to roll 11 or under.
So 55. Got 7.
Nice. Okay, she doesn't have any armor, so
even better.
Roll the damage.
Short sword does D8 plus 1. With the plus 1, 8.
Okay.
Roll the 7 again.
You drive your short sword up, and unlike people's hands and non-magical stuff, it actually sort of meets resistance and feels like it's sinking into flesh. She throws her head back in one last scream and just sort of evaporates in a blast of flame and soot.
Cool.
And is dispelled.
Oh, fantastic. Well done.
Now she knows where I am. Great.
You see, the The sword is mightier than a pen, Maddox. How about that?
I wanted to do that.
Well, why didn't you then?
Well,
Either
My
way,
next time-
reflexes aren't very good.
she is
the
gone.
next
going
time
to,
some
honestly.
idiot volunteers to dangle from a rope, we'll let it be you.
So you can grab the treasures and make your way back up and in.
Oh,
For all that
hurts.
effort, you have retrieved this drum. It's a silver chased black wood drum with a skin stretched over the top, a slightly bluish skin. And the cup is pewter with gems set all around the rim of it. 7 of them are a dull red colour, but the last one glows with its own light.
Wow.
How big are the urns on the other alcove? How big are they?
So the small pots about 6 inches across.
Do they look like they're sealed or opened?
Looked like they were open top, just sort of fairly crude earthenware.
Is there any pictures or any glyphs on them at all? Or are they just
No, they're
bare?
just plain.
They're just vanilla. Right.
Yeah.
What will they do about these urns then? Will they go for them now, or are we just happy with these spoiled?
I could buy an urn. You want an urn? Take it.
Well, okay.
We can check them out. Maddox, do you want to jump across the other side?
Want to?
Okay.
No. Will I? As
With
long
the
as
rope
rope's
and no
firmly
threat.
attached. Yeah.
With the rope and no threat, yeah, easy enough. They're just earthenware pots filled with dirt and long dead plants. It looks like maybe it was just for growing some flowers or herbs or something.
You could plant some lavender in there. Look lovely.
Spiffing.
Perhaps some pansies.
I said, does anyone have a musical bent here in the party? No?
I mean, I have 1 magic point left and a heal injury touch spell.
Well, who's injured the most then? Looking at all of us then.
Knave man. Guy got like 10 hit points damage.
Oh.
That was the assassin, wasn't it?
Yeah.
While I was offline, did anything happen to me?
No.
Excellent. That's what I like to hear.
Right, so you're just gonna pocket these things?
Yeah.
Yeah, may as well. I'll look at. Can I look at the pewter so-called cup thing?
Yeah.
What did this? Even though I'm an assassin, would I actually know anything about not appraisal as such, but would I know anything about shinies?
Probably a little bit. So you
Would
pick
that
up
be under-
the cup. It seems weird to have set such precious stones in a relatively modest vessel like a pewter cup. But as you sort of turn it and move it around, you notice that the gem that lights up changes all the time, and it's always the gem facing in one particular direction.
Which direction does it seem to shine in? Is it like north direction?
Yeah. So it's
The northern
like
star.
it's like a magical compass.
So it's like a northern star compass type thingy bob.
Yep.
Oh, right, okay. And the dull red ones, are they like garnets or rubies or?
Probably rubies. Looking at this, yeah, rubies. And the
Right.
enchantment seems to be over the whole object. I mean, you could prize the gems free, but then it wouldn't have the same
It
magical
wouldn't have.
worth.
It wouldn't have the same effect.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, it looks like we've got ourselves a drinking cup that points in the general direction of the north. Interesting. Right.
And
The
a drum.
ship's captain would probably be happy with it.
Yeah, the
And the
drums.
drum?
Rum.
Yeah, the drum's interesting. That's looks like it could be from my tradition, from a barbarian tradition.
Yeah.
Look at the drum.
It's somewhat similar to some of the drums that your shaman and so on use. They're a much more refined design. Black wood. You're not sure what the skin stretched across it is. You've not really seen a blue coloured skin before. The silver is silver. It would have tarnished, however, so you suspect that the drum is also magical.
Give it a play.
I tell you what, you tap the drum and I'll dance to it.
Perhaps before we do any dancing in the somewhat unsteady tower, we should get back to ground level.
You
Yeah.
should probably
Yeah.
depart.
Let's go back to ground zero.
You can all shimmy down the rope, no problem. Leaving the assassin till last because he can climb down without the rope.
Yep.
Yeah, and it's nice to be back out of that tower. It had a rather oppressive feel to it even after the specter was killed. So you're now back out on the square. You can hear water lapping up against the ruin of the outer wall now, though it's still dry inside here.
Right. Time to beat the waves, I reckon, guys.
Yeah, let's get moving. So I'm going to tuck this drum in my pack because I have a big capacious pack and I've got loads of room in it.
Yeah. So
Once we're back down in the courtyard, I would like to take another look at that cup and see if it generally points north or if it points to north only because we were in the tower and you would actually triangulate it to someplace else.
It's definitely pointing north.
Okay.
Yeah, cool. I was going to say the exact same thing.
Do you want to have a quick tap on the drum or anything? Or you just
you're going then, yeah.
You just gonna suck it away. Okay. Yeah.
Let's give it.
I'll do a nice little jig to that.
Nothing really appears to happen.
Is there any
Perhaps
pictures?
it's,
Is there any pictures on the drum? Any glyphs or anything?
No, it's completely plain.
Is it a tuneful or?
It seems to be taut and it's making the right noise and everything. Yeah, it's a surprisingly deep sound.
Interesting.
More like a drum that you'd beat with a stick than with your hand. So
Yeah.
You tap it, but it goes dum dum dum.
So it sounds
Perhaps
like a
its use will be revealed to us in due time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sounds like a marching drum or a kettle drum, that sort of thing.
I'll stuff it in my pack.
Okay.
I'll put the cup back in my backpack.
I think we have time to investigate at least another building.
Well, two of them were completely ruined. The most intact building seems to be the one with the dome.
Is that the church?
Yeah,
Church.
seems
Yeah,
like
that was. Funnily enough, that was exactly the one I was going to suggest.
Okay. Sorry, you gather yourselves. Yeah, shake off the lingering thoughts of the spectre, and head across the square through the bones and the rusted weapons and everything else.
Is there any other way of getting hit points back, James, bar magic and potions?
Magic, potions, and rest is about it. Across the main square.
Yeah, we drank all of the magic potions that we had in the first session.
Yeah.
We didn't realise how valuable they were. Burnt through them.
Well, just get your assassin friend to hang back a bit in any future conflicts, and you should be all right. Across the main square, northeast of the Black Obelisk, stands a hexagonal pavilion, atop a flat pyramidal base. There must have once been a huge statue above the pavilion, for the rubble scattered about this edifice has been carefully worked. Ascending the worn steps, you see the broken feet of this statue still flank the pavilion, so you would have passed between its legs to enter. The door ahead of you is decorated, unnervingly, with a grinning skull above a crescent moon. To either side of the door stands the white marble statue of a large hound. The hounds sit upright on their haunches, higher than a man's shoulder, and their stone gums are bared to display wicked fangs.
Nice.
I don't think this is a church.
Do you reckon they are hellhounds? Oh, just chuckle.
I think we fought those before, have we not?
Yes, you did. You have fought hellhounds before. They don't seem like them. They're sort of carvings, hyper stylized. Again, they remind Becca somewhat of the way her tribe carves dogs, but it's not quite the same.
Are they like gargoyles, James?
Yeah.
Yeah. The scale off knows the adventure players and all that.
As long as they remain statues.
Well, you can lead this time. When you lead this time, and we'll sort of like touch you from behind, and I'll just chuckle.
I shall lead. It'll be fine. Let's go.
Okay.
I boldly step forwards in front.
Is anybody cursed with an attractive leg, as far as dogs are concerned? I can see that going badly.
Well, I have a delicate calf, yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
He'll be finished in a minute.
Sir Elaine, you step boldly forward up to the entrance, and as you cross the threshold of the door, the two graven dogs spring to life.
I knew that.
That was exactly what I didn't want to happen.
But yes, you all clearly expected that, so they don't get surprised. Right, so initiative order. Scizora.
I'm staying back. I'm behind this time. I'm staying behind.
Okay.
I'm loading my crossbow.
Okay, so loading your crossbow for this turn and cowering behind everyone else.
Yep.
Okay. Sir Elaine.
Me. I attack first. Cool. I'm going to attack the one on my right.
Okay. One gigantic stone dog on your right. Right, you turn to it and can make your attack. Okay, its defense is 4, so take that away from your attack and roll.
Okay. And there's... Hey, I hit.
Okay. Its armor factor is 6 for you to beat.
Armor factor is 6.
Oh, it's tough.
Yeah.
What do I...
It's the first number next to your weapon. You roll that and try to get over 6.
Ah, okay. Hey, 7. I get through.
And then roll damage, which is the second number.
Nice. Oh, 8.
Nice.
Full damage. So 10 total.
10 damage. Okay, and there was the one to the right you were hitting, wasn't it?
Yes.
Okay. So yeah, you were kind of ready for this, and twist the moment it starts to move, and drive your sword into it. Your magical blade strikes into its stone haunch and chips off like a fist-sized lump of stone, and cracks start to spider out of it where you struck it in all directions, but it's still active.
Attack that one!
And
get it down, then focus on the other.
It's their go. Okay, the one in front of you is going for you, and the one behind you is going to attack you in the rear. How do you want to split your defense between the two?
Probably... My defense... I've never done this before. I suppose...
I mean, they're identical, so it doesn't particularly matter, but you may want to defend more against one than the other. Just
exactly, that's what I'm
choice.
thinking.
Yeah.
I don't like my odds. I may actually defend solely against one.
Okay. So the one in front of you?
Yeah.
Okay, and what's your defense?
10.
Okay. Right. It lunges back at you, but you manage to kind of ward it off with your shield, hold it, even though the weight of the stone bearing down on you is incredible. And the one behind you botches. It wasn't expecting you to kind of stagger, so it misses you utterly. Right. Becca.
Complete luck.
Right, so I'm going to hit the one behind.
Okay. Try and distract it off him.
Hooray! That's a 9. So
Its defense is 4, so...
Yeah, that's it.
Okay.
Yeah,
Bypass its armor.
I've got attack of 17 as a hit. Yay, 11.
So that's past the armor, and then damage.
Bypass the armor, and 5 hits damage.
5 hits damage. Okay. A glancing blow. I mean, your great big claymore-style sword isn't the sharpest of things, so it just kind of smashes along its back and scrapes, leaving a great big scratch all the way down the back of the stone. Right, Madrock. You're muted.
Sorry about that. I'll attempt to stab the one that the knight did some serious damage to.
Okay.
Try and finish the job.
Right. It's not putting any defense against you, so straight attack roll.
That's what I like to hear. 4.
That's going to be a hit. Right. Roll to bypass armor.
7. Plus 1 for the...
Yeah.
So 8.
Yeah. And then damage.
I'm loving that dice. It's D8 again. With the plus 1, 7.
7.
Oh,
Gosh.
Right. Yeah. You drive your sword forward. It gets into one of the cracks and kind of twists and chips a whole chunk of stone off it. It's starting to give off dust, as low, like where it's been carved. The joints are starting to break apart, but it's not down yet.
Steve Irwin. Crikey, he's really pissed off now.
Right. Yannick, the warlock.
I will charge in behind my compatriot and see if I can finish off that one.
Okay. Right. So D20 equal or under your attack score.
20. A 10, and my attack is 12, so that's a hit.
That's a hit. Right. Then next to the weapon, there's 2 dice separated by a slash. The first dice is to bypass armor, so you need to roll over 6.
I have an 8.
Okay, and then
I
you
rolled
roll
a
the
7
second
with
one
the
for
plus
damage.
1.
Yep.
And 5. 4 with the plus 1.
Okay.
That's 5.
All right. It's rattling and shaking and giving off loads of dust. The whole thing is covered in cracks now, but it's not quite dead.
Oh my goodness.
Right.
This is tough.
New turn. Suzora, your crossbow is loaded.
I'll shoot at the cracked mutt.
Go for it.
Okay, so that will be attack at 14. Will it be 20? 8. Got an 8 on my D20 for a change.
Cool.
hey.
Roll the first dice.
Crossbow is D10 dash D8. So will that be a D10 or a D8?
That's the D10. D8 is for the damage. So it's D10 to try and get past armor. You need 7, 8, 9, 10.
I get a 9, my
Okay.
lucky number.
And then roll the damage.
And I get 6.
Okay. Right. The
Do we
bolt
get
is the
stone chickens?
bolt is the last the last bit of damage needed. It strikes deep into one of the cracks, and the whole thing shatters into bits and pieces, and sort of scatters around everyone's feet.
Okay.
Okay, so Alain.
Now I can concentrate on the one that remains. I lift my shield up and try to jab it with my sword.
Okay, you twist around and jab. It is defending against you, so take its defense of 4 away.
9, so that is another hit,
Okay.
I think. Yeah, definitely.
Yep.
It's 17 take away 4 is
Yes, it's 13. So
13. Yeah.
yeah,
Oh,
roll to bypass
okay.
the armor.
8.
And
Jesus
damage?
Christ, what is happening?
Suddenly getting a string
damage.
of good rolls, everyone.
7.
7 damage?
7 damage. Plus 2 is
So
9.
Right. Yeah. If you twist around, there's not really enough room to jab, so you just sort of swing and catch it with the bottom part of your blade and cleave off part of its face, but it's still snarling and biting at you. And it's its go. What's your defense?
My defense is 10.
Okay. It clamps its jaws onto your forearm. Well, let's see. Roll d6. If you get a 1, it hits your shield instead.
Okay. With the luck I've been having, it'd be amazing if I get a 1. No, 4.
Okay. What's your armor factor?
My armor factor is 5.
It fails to penetrate your armor. So it clamps onto your forearm, but your greave, or whatever they're called on the arm, stops the teeth from penetrating any flesh. Becca. You're muted.
Sorry, yes. Yeah, swinging my claymore at this last dog.
Okay,
5.
no defense. So
Yeah, that's a hit.
armor bypass.
12.
Yep.
Cool.
Damage.
4.
4.
Disappointing.
Yeah. Okay. You swing a wide, sort of fully hard blow, trying to hit the broken side of its face, and you do hit, but your sword sort of bounces off and rings in your hands, making your fingers a bit numb.
Yeah, well, you can note Becca's immaculate technique, but this is just a wrong weapon for breaking up stone, isn't it?
Well, a claymore is just a thin metal club, so it's
Hey! Use a claymore in real life, it's not a club. It's a toothpick. Yeah, right, it's a toothpick.
Right, Madrog.
See if I can replicate my earlier success.
So it was a short sword, wasn't it?
Yeah. I got a 5, so yeah.
That's a hit. Damage.
Armor
bypass first.
9.
Okay. And damage.
Oh, excellent. Loving this. I don't roll like this when I'm reffing. Oh, damn. No, I thought it was an 8 again. No, it's a 3. So 4.
4 damage. Okay, it's still going, unfortunately. But you are wearing it down. You think one more solid blow should finish it off. Yannick?
Thanks for holding it still for me. Rolled an 8, so that's a hit.
Yep. Armor bypass.
Armor bypass is D8. That's an 8. 7 plus 1. And damage is, come on, Seabiscuit. 4.
That's enough to finish it.
Woot.
Okay. Yeah, while they've got it surrounded and kind of beating it and holding it into position, you manage to get close and drive your blade into a big crack that's developed on its back, and then just sort of lever it in half. It breaks into 2 pieces, which shatter and scatter along the ground.
Thank goodness I have this enchanted crowbar.
Yes.
Well, once those dogs are done and dusted, I'll walk up to them and can I get my crossbow bolt back from it, or?
No, striking stone like that, it's busted. You can take the head.
Sorry?
You can take the tip, the head of the bolt.
Yeah, I'll take the tip. I'll take the bolt head.
Yeah. Right.
What were the dogs made out of? Just normal stone?
White marble. Worth taking as a keepsake, but not the pieces aren't worth that much.
Yeah, I'll take like one of their fangs or something as a token.
Yeah, true. Those might be worth something because they're carved.
Yeah, I'll take as many fangs as I can. Just like,
okay.
Yeah.
I'll go for a claw.
Okay. Right. So having caught your breath after defeating the dogs, you move on into the temple. You enter a large hexagonal chamber, the roof of which is domed and glass-like. The floor is elaborately incised with spiral patterns enclosing circles of coloured stone. In the centre of the room, a large slab is tilted up, revealing a staircase which winds downward. Beside the slab are 3 skeletal corpses. One wears scraps of ceremonial vestments and clutches an ebony and silver staff in its fingers. The sea doesn't appear to have managed to inveigle its way into the temple, which explains the relative preservation of the corpses and things here. There are score marks on the floor, and you can infer that previously someone's been here and ransacked things from this chamber.
How recently?
Hard to tell, because this is so undisturbed.
Okay.
Examine, but do not touch the staff.
Okay. So it's ebony wood with silver caps and silver inlay. It looks like the same wood and the same silver that the drum has been made of, though you don't think they're related items. What's your psychic ability score thing?
Psychic talent is 13.
13. Okay. Okay, never mind.
So nice looking staff.
Everyone, stay still. I think I just failed a perception check.
Yeah, so maybe it's the thing that's designed to hit that drum you've got. I don't know.
Seems a bit unwieldy for that being a full.
Well, you know, at range, it has that drum has a deep voice. Maybe you're supposed to stand back. I don't know.
How big is the staff, James?
It's full wizard staff size, so it's
5 foot, 6 foot.
5'5", base to tip.
And what's the other cadavers got? Anything of use?
No, just sort of scraps of what were maybe once holy robes, but any jewellery or anything they were wearing is long gone, and they've long been reduced to skeletons.
I'd like to... oh, sorry, go on.
No, you go.
I was going to say I'd like to peer down the stairway and see if I can get an idea of how far down that might go. And if there's anything obvious at the bottom. Say, you know, bathed in a shaft of light from above or something obvious.
So it goes straight down. What little light there is filtering in through the dome and everything doesn't reveal much at the bottom. It looks like there's more bones and rusted armour down at the bottom, and then it's hard to tell. There's shadows that suggest that there's probably fairly wide corridors and things going off in different directions. It looks like the main body of the temple is underground down there, but you'll need light.
I'll light a lamp.
Okay.
I'll curse the darkness, just to cover our bases.
I'm examining the feet at the cadavers. Does it look like they've actually moved recently, or have they moved at all in the past while?
No, it doesn't.
Okay, with my magical sword I'll chop off the hand which has got the staff.
Okay, easy enough. Crunch.
Did any of the other statues any of the cadavers come to life?
No, none of the corpses came to life. No more moon dogs.
Right, I'll pick up the staff, dust it down.
Okay, what's your magical defense?
3.
3. Okay, hang on. I need to look something up.
Yeah, goodbye, assassin.
Oh, no.
Yeah, the nature of your
you
death is what we're checking on.
Touch the...
I need to put more post-it notes in this book so I can find stuff.
This
I
reminds me.
feel like I should have stopped you, but I didn't want to interrupt.
Sorry, what does this remind you of?
It reminds me of Tunnels and Trolls.
Yeah, a bit, I suppose.
Yeah.
Page 123, Jim, on the new book.
Is Tunnels and Trolls still going on? Is it still doing its duties, or stop publishing it?
Yeah. A new version came out recently.
Which one would be this? 5.1? The last fantasy roleplay game I played was Ravenloft, and that was online about 5 years ago. Oh, that was a good laugh.
I hated Ravenloft. I lost a character every single session. I've never known anything like it.
I
Okay.
played Kendra, who I called Buffy.
All right,
who
you
was
grab the
basically
staff. Nothing
Yep.
immediately bad happens, but you have this horrible sinking sensation in your stomach.
Is it like a gut feeling or a hatred?
A gut feeling that something really bad just happened to you.
Oh, fuck. Did I feel my spine so-called feel like it snapped?
Yeah, there was a shiver, a shudder, and a sort of sinking feeling of dread.
You defiled the dead in their own temple. I mean, you know what?
But you do have an ebony and silver staff, so.
Yeah, right.
My word, you touched the staff?
Does anyone want a staff?
Oh.
Does anyone want to hold the staff?
Spread the wealth.
It's in a room surrounded with charred bodies, and
On the plus side, Caesar, you got a cool looking staff now.
I do have a cool little staff, but the thing is I have the headband to go with it, so I can call a cloud.
Well, does that staff seem to be encouraging you to lead the way downstairs?
No, it just felt like someone's walked over my grave with a size 10 plate mill boot.
Uh-huh.
Look at Tin Man.
Silence phone. Thought I already turned you off. Okay. Staff shenanigans dealt with. Now what?
Since I'm going to die soon of lack of health, I'll leave.
Okay.
Looking for any traps on the way down.
So you're taking your lantern, or someone lit a lantern?
Yeah, I'll light a lantern. And using the staff, tap the stairs on the way down.
Ah, useful. Even without a halfling tied to one end of it.
If you're being stealthy, is it a good idea for someone else to hold the lamp?
yeah, I can't hold the
up in the dark.
lamp.
Can we go can
I need
two
to
go
use
down
my
the stairs
shield.
at one time,
Yeah,
James? Or is it one?
The stairwell is about 3 meters across, so two of you with bulky gear and so on can easily stand side by side.
Right.
I
okay,
will.
well,
I'll stow the shield and carry a lantern.
Okay.
thank you.
Right. So you make your way down the stairs, testing with the staff as you go. So you descend to the bottom of it. Old bones and riven armor lie tangled up here. Picking your way across the debris, you find yourself at the intersection of 2 3-meter wide corridors. Just a second. This thing isn't making any sense right now. The intersection of 2 corridors. Okay, so yeah, it's a crossroads. North of where you've come down, you see another wide flight of steps leading down to a heavy wooden portal. There are no doors east and west, but when you shine a light south, it falls across 2 doors only a few meters from where you're standing. So either side of the corridor. So you're at a crossroads after having descended a sort of step staircase, a square but round staircase, I guess. North, there's these steps leading down to a great wooden door. East and west, this corridor stretches on. You can't see completely to the end of it. South, the corridor stretches on, and it looks like there's doors either side of that corridor, and then it falls into shadow beyond the radius of your torch.
And on the floor, there's lots of cadavers, I believe.
Yeah.
Are they still like skeletonic or?
Yeah, they're
corpses?
Scavengers and so on have clearly been down here and finished off the flesh, so it's
Yeah.
But they're in much better nick than the stuff up above.
Which direction is directly to our left?
Would that be the left?
West, for sake of ease.
I'm just going to look down the west passageway.
Okay, it stretches on to the limit of the lantern's light.
Well, you know my rule when it comes to mazes.
Left.
Always turn left.
Is this from experience or?
It's from last session. It didn't work that well.
Yeah. James has changed his mind. We should have stuck to the right. The right! The right! The right!
I think it's probably just that he's a Beyonce fan, right?
Ooh. Ooh.
To the left. Okay, well, obviously, however far this extends, it must be in pretty good shape. Otherwise, seawater would have found its way into this level.
And it doesn't seem to have.
Or it could be magical. Never thought that.
Yeah, I suppose so.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Well, the knight seems to have some experience at this. He keeps talking about previous adventures.
Yep. He can
So
left.
So obviously, going to the left is the way to go.
Okay. So you cautiously make your way along, warlock and assassin side by side, checking the paving slabs as you go along. Eventually, this corridor ends at a T-junction. So one arm goes north, the other goes south.
Does anyone have any chalk? Oh, smile.
What I have is a magic sword that I could probably make a scratch in the wall with.
Yeah.
Or better still, I could put a piton on the wall here for my climbing equipment. How's that sound?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. You can hammer one of those into the gap in the wall.
Yep.
Right. So left would be south if you want to stick to the rules.
Let's continue turning to the left.
Okay. So you head down to the south and arrive at a large, heavy wooden portal. It has a
portal.
Yeah, a door. Poncy word for door. Not as in way to the other world or anything. So it's it's heavy, polished wood with a metal ring-shaped handle on it.
Does it appear to have a keyhole?
It does not.
Oh, well.
Judging from the outside, does it open inward or outward?
It looks like it opens inward.
Right. Opens inwards, dear chaps.
Well, let's give it a push then.
Okay. You
twist
the metal ring and push, and the door opens inward, only creaking slightly. The light reveals within the door a large square chamber with high vaulted ceilings, and it's full of ritual paraphernalia. Scepters, masks, bells, drums, rotting, moth-eaten robes. And there's crumbling racks along one wall with a few scroll cases in amongst them.
Drums, any similarity to the one we've already seen?
Similar design, but these are sort of aged and dry and no good for anything, really.
You also said high vaulted ceilings. Is this offending my sense of dimension as we were only like one floor down from the surface, or does this seem like it would be normally?
As you sort of lift the lantern and look up, you see that it's partially optical illusion. So there's a low vault, but it's been painted and decorated in a way that exaggerates the lines.
Oh, okay. I see.
For the Egyptian builders.
It's bigger on the inside.
We'll go. I would like to examine some of the scrolls and see if anything is legible or has survived time.
As you try to sort of unroll them and get a look at them, they crumble immediately. Any of them that were exposed at all are already no use for anything. So yeah, none of the scrolls are really recoverable. Some of the scroll cases are quite nice, though, sort of silver caps on the ends, that sort of thing.
Well, I need something to store my maps in as I draw them, so sure.
Yeah.
I'll borrow one of
Those
those.
made of silver. It's valuable. Pocket as much as you can.
Well, I toss 2 more to the knight then.
Yeah.
I'll have a look at the instruments. Are there any beaters here? That
There's a few drumsticks and things, but everything's been here so long, it's just dried out and crumbled, or just age just got to it and rot.
Does it feel like it's an airtight room, James Bennett?
No, not airtight, no. But the air is pretty stale and stagnant down here, without people, coming up and down and using it, or keeping the braziers lit or anything. There's been very little air circulation.
Are there any other obvious entrances or exits to this room?
Yes, left of where you came in, conveniently enough, there is another similar door.
So we're maybe making a rectangle around the central staircase as we travel.
If this carries on the way you think it's going to, you'll have done a square in which the staircase will have been the top right-hand corner of the square.
Got it. Okay.
Is there
Well,
nothing else?
I would say continue on to the left then.
Okay, but sorry.
Is there nothing else of interest in the room?
Rummaging around through the sort of ritual items, most of it's just kind of trash, really. But there's a few things like cups and other ritual bits and pieces that are a bit more high-end. Might be worth taking for the money that they're worth.
Is there any way of determining from the stuff that's scattered about what the faith was, what being or entity was worshipped? That's
It's
probably
all
beyond my knowledge, but
it's all fairly animistic looking, so depictions of animals, and the moon also figures a great deal. So beasts and the moon.
Anything like the dog from the outside?
Yes, some of the scepters are carved in a similar shape to the dogs that were on the outside.
Spoons, dogs. Wait a minute.
You said the ceiling was partially optical illusion for height. Is the illusion focused in any particular part of the room? Does it look different, more real, more interesting from a particular part of the room, from an angle?
No, not really. I think it's just decoration.
Okay.
So, am I right in thinking that from my sort of Slavic tradition, moons and dogs are generally bad omens?
Dogs not necessarily, wolves more. So, I mean, the dogs are domesticated and helpful and useful.
But two upstairs weren't. They were hindered.
The moon can be seen any number of different ways, but it is a harbinger of the night, so that's usually associated with darkness or evil, but also lights up the night. So tricky.
I suppose if there's nothing left in this room, we have to keep going.
Okay, sounds like a plan. We're going to retrace our steps, or we're going to try this other door.
Well, no point going back the way we came.
Okay. So you pass through this next door, on through the corridor for a short way, and then the corridor turns and heads back north, where it rejoins the staircase eventually. Either side of this section of the corridor are 2 doors. 2 smaller ones on the left, 2 larger ones on the right.
Okay, do we pass my piton on the way back?
You haven't yet. You think that if you carried on to where the staircase was and go left again, then you'd run into your piton. So this is south of where the staircase was when you came down.
Right, got you.
My word. It's some sort of maze that is impervious to my turning left strategy. Gods.
Oh, okay.
Well, you'll just have to turn left and then immediately turn left again really quickly.
Turn left twice.
Yes.
That's car
3 times in a
adventuring.
row. Do you want to open one of these doors and check inside while I stand at the ready with my sword?
I can't think of anything I want more. Yes.
So, what, the first door on the left?
Yes.
Okay,
I'll be watching the others.
just in case.
Okay.
In case any monsters Scooby-Doo it out of one's
Always.
into the other.
Yeah.
I'll open up the left door.
Okay. Right, the first door on the left, the smaller one, you open it up. It's more of a cell, but not really a prison cell, maybe a priest or a monk's preparation room or something. Inset in the wall is a silver crescent moon symbol, but that's really all there is in here. Nothing else. There's the rotten remnants of a prayer mat on the floor, so you think it was just a small room for prayer or devotions prior to holding services or something, perhaps.
And the silver, does it look like the silver moon could be pried from the wall?
Yes, it probably could.
Okay, I'll prize it out with my dagger.
Okay, it's very thin silver, so it bends, but it is peeled away with great delicacy. So you have a silver crescent moon.
Okay.
Might get a few florins for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I walk an extra yard or so away from him from now on.
Okay, so what, the next door on the left?
Just saying. Yes,
If I
yes, the
die,
next door.
Okay.
my treasure
Yeah.
go to people.
Same plan as before?
Yep.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Again, this is another smaller door. You haul it open. It's a bit bigger than the sort of devotional chamber that you were just in. You think it was once the living quarters for several men here. There's 8 pallet beds arranged around the room, but they've long since sort of rotted in on themselves. But it looks like a place where people slept.
Is there any like chests at the foot of the beds or anything?
The rotten remnants of them, but it doesn't look like they had much in them. Priests don't tend to have that much normally, but their churches do. So,
Right. Is any of doors out of here except for the one we came in?
just the one you came in. So then there's the 2 doors on the right.
Okay. Time to go to
Let's
right.
do the
chap.
same.
Yep.
Okay.
do the same.
First door on the right, slightly bigger. You swing it open and let the light inside. There's decaying shelves in this room. Looks like they once held carved stone plaques, but when the shelves rotted through, the plaques fell to the floor and smashed to pieces. A few of the fragments are large enough for you to get a closer look at, and they are graven with a small carved script.
Who's the logistics expert in the
But you can't read it. So it's just
No,
think of it as a massive jigsaw puzzle.
That's what I'm saying. Who's the logistics member of the party? I'm looking at.
The
I know how to
script
read.
in a language that any of us recognize.
No, it's nothing that any of you recognise.
Okay.
Some kind of lost ancient language, and you'd have to put a full tablet together and have some idea what it was talking about to get any real sense.
I see.
Not something you really have time for.
We could do a quick rubbing of some of them just to get an example of the script for other people to maybe get a clue on.
Yeah. Has
It
anyone
won't
got
be
any
anything
paper?
complete, but
Sorcerer.
probably not written
Not
down.
with you, unless the warlock's got some paper.
Oh,
Which I
Was
don't
there
know.
enough of the fragments of the scrolls that fell apart?
No, they were useless. You can pocket a couple of the larger pieces, and then maybe that'll be enough for somebody. Okay.
And the
last door on the right.
Open the last door.
This is another dormitory, similar to the one opposite, except that there's a tapestry hanging along the southern wall. It doesn't seem to have rotted or fallen apart in the same way that everything else has down here. But it is covered in grime.
grab the bottom of the tapestry and give it a little shake. See if we can,
Yeah.
shake off enough to get an idea of what it depicts.
Yeah. Dust falls away from it, and you lift your lantern and have a closer look. It's embroidered with ghastly scenes of human sacrifice, necromancy, and even more obscene practices. The rites are being conducted beneath a gibbous moon, from which a pale-skinned demon appears to have descended. The demon has the body of an androgynous humanoid, but from its neck and wrists grow writhing hooded snakes. It's almost like it moves under your eyes as you look at it, and leaves you feeling sick to your stomach. What's your magical defense?
My magical defense is 5.
Okay. You can feel it having an effect on you, but you manage to shake off the effect and step back from it.
It's the example of manga.
I step back and make the sign against the evil eye as I back away towards the door.
Yeah. Do you want to warn the others not to look at it?
Well, I assume that yes.
Yes.
Kid. I will definitely do that unless it's already too late.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
I sort of assumed that it was, but yeah.
No, you were the one that went and shook it and had a close look. So
yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm going to say that the fact that the large door ending from the staircase is no doubt the center of church life, and I'm going to suggest that it being 2 stories underground is suggestive in and of itself.
Well, once you finished here, you arrive back at the spiral staircase. There's only two directions you haven't been: down the steps to the next underground level, or off to the east.
We'll go east before we go downstairs, then, chaps.
Are we the kind of completists that finish level 1 before we descend the stairs to level 2?
Yes.
This is the question.
Are we going to do a full sweep before we go downstairs? I agree.
Okay.
Well, what is our mission? Before we continue, we're just looking for threats, aren't we?
We're to investigate and neutralize any threats.
Yeah, so this appears to be a long abandoned temple with not a lot going on.
I would agree with that, except that we keep being attacked by things.
And we don't know that there is not anything dangerous down here. We haven't just searched the whole thing.
I'm mindful of what Maddox said, that we shouldn't leave any threats behind us. So I think let's check this level.
No stone unturned.
Yes.
Sorry. Yeah.
Is there any way of cutting the tapestry down without giving it any damage for monetary value?
I'm going. If he takes a step towards it, I'm going to recommend that he leave it alone and not even look at it. But if he continues on beyond that, then my advice is given, and I wash my hands of it.
You could unhook the embroidered ropes at the top and to get it down, and then roll it up. Yeah,
I would say destroy it.
Sounds like a plan. Sounds like, because we could have a fire outside. Yeah. But how long will it take me to unhook it?
I think it's a big thing. It'd be quite unwieldy. It'll only take you a couple of minutes to unhook it and roll it up, but then you'll just have to leave it here till you can come back, 2 of you, to carry it and take it out.
I'm not touching the thing.
So is there an achievement of the most curses accrued?
There should be.
Just saying.
Yeah.
I've already been cussed by a fair maiden who tried to take my face off. I then got into a fight with a couple of dogs. What more can the man ask for?
Yeah, what you wish for.
Change your character's name to Dr. Pepper.
Don't mean Dr. Doolittle.
Yeah, that was bad enough without any help. But okay, yeah, if you want to, you can unhook it and roll it up.
Yeah.
While steadfastly not looking at it.
Yep.
Okay.
Whilst I shake my head.
Yeah. Right. And then you move on. Getting to the end of the eastern part of the corridor, there is a door immediately to your right, and the corridor takes a right angle and goes north.
Okay. I'll lead again. Checking for any traps in the way.
So far, no traps. So there's this door to the right, or the corridor continues to the left.
How big is the doorway this time?
It's another small one, but it's made of less polished, less heavy, less expensive looking wood, but it is iron bound and bolted.
Bolted from this side. Bolted from this side.
I mean, it's got iron bolts, rivets put through it, and it does have a keyhole.
Hey, I'll have a look at that. I've got a chance of picking locks.
Yeah. It's a fairly crude old lock. Add 10% to your lockpick chance if you want to try doing that.
Does it have a grate on the door so you can slide it open, see if there's anything you can look in, or
no?
It's
just a solid door.
13. So
okay.
Yeah. I remember as it's written, you've got that chance of doing it, and then it's something like your rank or less every round to actually do it. So we could be here some time, guys.
We'll just let it slide.
But it's an option.
Yeah. You wiggle your dagger in the lock. It's an old, crude one, and it eventually goes clunk and opens up. Okay, behind that door is another corridor with a series of metal grates on the left-hand side, bars of prison cells. The corridors you traverse are wide and well paved, even though the floors are cracked in places by probably an ancient earthquake. Down here, though, this corridor ends with 4 barred cells, within which you can see the mouldering remains of chained captives. They must have starved to death centuries ago. But they're unlikely to have anything useful. It's just a miserable little hovel where people died horrible deaths.
So it looks like a holding cell for sacrifice victims to their gods.
Yeah, nice and convenient.
Yep. And there's another. Sorry.
I feel completely justified slaying whatever is inside here, and, stealing anything that isn't bolted down.
So the only way to go from here is back the way you came, and then north down the corridor if you want to finish checking everything.
Sounds like a plan.
Yeah, just a quick scan around. Doesn't look like there's anything in here though. But
no.
Let's head out.
Yeah,
I'm gonna head out anyway. You can do what you want.
Okay, so this last section of corridor that you haven't explored yet goes north, terminates in another door. There are also 2 doors on the left-hand side of the corridor and 1 door at the far end of the right-hand side of the corridor.
Which door this time again, gents?
As we come to them?
Okay. Right. So, taking up your now well-practiced positions, you push open the first door on the left. The door's already slightly ajar, so you just have to sort of nudge it.
Nudge it with the staff.
Yeah. Within are the rotted remnants of clothing and furniture, mostly intact, sort of just starting to fall to rot slightly. There's a large iron-bound chest in one corner of the room.
Whoa.
Looks
How'd that gear up?
How big's the chest?
Large, so like a trunk, yeah. So I don't know, meter long, 60 centimeters deep.
So
checking the floor going up to the chest cautiously. Is there like loose floor?
There's the rotting remnants of furs and mats and so on the floor, but nothing, no traps triggered.
Okay. Is there a lock on this chest?
There is indeed.
Right. This is where my lock picking skill comes in.
You've got it as well.
Yeah,
Right.
but it's all.
This is a more complex lock, so just your straight lock picking skill.
Can we do it as a team effort, me and the other guy?
Yeah.
Complete.
Whoever's
Okay.
got the highest skill with a bit of assistance can add 5% to their skill total.
Okay, well,
While they're working on that, I will look around at the furniture and figure that it would be just hilarious if there was a drawer with a key in it. Just checking, just in case. You know?
There's always one. There's always one. There's always one.
Okay, so you check around the room. You don't find a key, but you get the impression that this was maybe a higher level priest's room.
Okay.
Okay, so you two picking the lock. So make the lock pick roll.
Roll the percentile. Oh, good. 0-2.
Nice.
Okay. Yeah, you click the lock open, and with a roll that good, you find the real lock next to the fake lock. So it looks like there was a trap or something. When you open it up, the top section of the chest is kind of walled off, and it's probably that had the trap mechanism in it. Inside, there's just a
nasty trap.
a trap. You don't know what it was. In the inside, it's just mouldy old clothing, robes, and so on. There's nothing really worthwhile in there.
I'll check through the ropes and that. You never know.
Yeah, no, there's nothing in there. Just mold, and dead moths.
No sacrificial daggers or silver blades.
Nothing like that. No.
You might find the lock
Chest.
itself is more valuable than the contents.
It would surprise me.
A trap's chest with nothing in there. That's
know.
cruel.
I'm checking the check. Is there any like hidden compartments or anything?
Just the one in the top.
Okay, I'll check it.
That's the
Is it
trap,
a trap?
probably.
Yeah,
Oh,
this
we'll
would be a
step
good
away.
time for everyone else to back out of the room.
Do you still want to trigger the trap or open that compartment?
Yeah, just let it be known I'm not in the room.
Okay.
Right.
Okay, I'll try and disarm the trap to open up that other compartment.
Okay.
And that's when your curse kicks off.
Yeah, exactly.
Make another lockpick roll. This time without a bonus.
Okay. 0-5.
Okay.
Nice.
Yeah, you disarm the lock and then carefully prise open the top. Okay, so it's spring loaded to open up. If someone clicks the wrong lock, but when you open it up, a snake's skeleton falls out.
Nice.
Nothing with the snake then, or is it just snake's bones?
It's just the snake, just the dead snake that used to be a trap.
Oh.
Yeah.
Was that a big snake or a small snake?
Small, so probably quite poisonous.
So there's no doubt I can ask for some.
Yeah. Nothing else useful there. Okay.
Okay. I'll prize the remains of the lock, which might be worth something.
Yeah, you can take that off it.
Because
Right. So heading on to the next door. Another smaller door. Push this open. This just looks like a storeroom, really. There's the remains of spades, buckets, other tools. There's a skeleton in here with the corroded remains of a spear sort of gripped in its fingers.
Does a spear look of value?
No.
Right, okay. Just ignore it then.
It's someone who fell in battle, it would seem. Okay.
Or hid and locked himself in the storeroom.
Yeah. Then across the corridor on the other side, this door opens into an L-shaped room. As your lamplight falls on the interior, you see that it's full of broken demon-shaped masks, ceremonial staves. These are all scattered over the floor like they've been smashed or stamped on or destroyed in some way. There's further signs of looting here, and human bones and smaller bones sort of intermingled with each other here. Looks like they were fighting each other or fell in battle. One single skeleton wears fragments of a silver headdress And on its finger is a white gold ring set with a chip of jade.
Oh,
Shiny, 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 shiny.
Smaller bones. Any way to identify those a little bit more clearly?
They seem like goblins to you, looking at them, looking at the shape of the brow ridge and so on, and the size of the weapons.
Okay.
So how obvious was the ring? Was it
Pretty
uncovered because he was kicking bones about, or
it was pretty obvious because that body was lying atop the others, and while everything else is covered in mold and dust, the ring isn't.
well, that's suspicious, isn't it?
is it the silver headdress? Is it all tarnished or is it shiny?
It's tarnished and broken apart. And
Does it
looking
look like
closer
crystals?
at that body, you think he was hit in the head with something which shattered the headdress.
Does it look like priest robes, James?
Yes.
Right, so this was no doubt the headpiece.
Yeah. At the end of the room, closest to this one with the headpiece and the ring, there's also a few tarnished silver chalices and bowls lying around. Looks like they were tossed to the floor. They're dented, but the silver should be worth something.
Pocket them. Pick them up.
Yeah, let's collect that. Let's collect up some silver. Yeah.
Do you want the ring?
I'm tempted for the ring, James. I'm tempted.
Oh, go for the hat trick. Go for the hat trick of Kirsty's. Go on.
Yep, let's go for a triple whammy. Let's go for a hat trick.
Okay, 1 second. I just need to look something up again.
Cautiously.
Oh,
Sound of
Mark
Grim
that
looking up fireball.
Right, nice.
Okay, so you just want to take the ring?
I'll prise it slowly from its finger. And is there any scripture in the inside of it, or is it just like shiny?
It's just very shiny. White gold with a chip of jade. The jade has a slight defect running through it that almost looks like a lightning bolt.
Ooh, shiny.
The silver bowls that you picked up, there's beyond the tarnish, there's kind of black stuff caked on the inside, and they have a oppressive, nasty, evil feel to them, like something disgusting was done with them. But silver's silver.
Yeah, you can just like clean it up. Yeah, get a brillo pad.
Draw-
Give it a good scrub.
So,
blood.
what about the ring?
I'll put it in my backpack. I'm not
Okay,
putting it up.
get it identified later.
Yeah, if I live.
Right. Okay, so there's just the one room left at the end of this corridor, and then the stairs down to the next level. That last... Sorry, go on.
let's try the last.
Yeah.
Last room.
Okay.
Sorry, what were you saying?
This seems to be living quarters again for another sort of high priest, but it's the same rack and ruin as before, but there's no chest in this one. So you're pretty sure you've cleared this level.
Right. Before we go any further, chaps, we're going to go topside and rest for a bit because I want to let my wounds. Sounds like a plan. I don't know about you guys, but I want to sort of like relax a bit before we go down any further because even though I have been healed, I want to be on the safe side. I don't know about you guys.
How long does healing take in this game? I do not know that.
You'd have to rest overnight
Yeah.
unless you get another spell cast on you or some healing magic of some kind.
Or we can just go back to the boat and rest and then go for round 2.
That would delay departure for another day. You doubt the Baron would be particularly happy about that.
That'd be no.
We can just do it in the forecourt. We can just rest in the forecourt of this castle.
Yeah, you could go and rest in the courtyard.
But
that is
the
open to
time
the
would
elements, and the
change.
tide will make it very wet.
Is
Also,
there any-
The time required
his
wouldn't
voice is
change,
not
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no quick rests in this system.
Oh, judging by how long have we been away, James? How long have we been away from the boat?
It took you it took you a few hours to get up here. And then you've probably been spotting around for something close to the amount of time it's taken to play, because some things are quicker and some things are slower.
Yeah.
So you've probably been away about 5 or 6 hours.
And how long is it till nightfall?
Not that long. Maybe another 3 hours. So by the time you get back to the ship, it's going to be dark.
Well, it's up to you guys. Do you want to go back to the boat, or do you want to go back down and sort of explore the last level?
I would say we need to at least look in that big door.
I mean,
I'll put that.
I think we should press on.
Yeah.
If you want, you can hang in the rear.
Well, I basically open up the door and let you guys go in, and then I come in after you. So if you guys, I'll open the door and then you guys can tank, and then I'll come in from the rear. How's that sound?
All right.
Yeah, I mean, am I familiar with Yannick's practices? I mean, we're both from the same cultural background.
Yeah.
Is it so? I mean, Yannick, you normally do your prayers and stuff at sunset, don't you?
Yes, that totally meshes with my cultural tradition.
I'm talking meta here. You see, so if sunset's in a couple of hours, that's when your magic points refresh, isn't it?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So you could heal him again, wait for nightfall, which is a couple of hours. You can climb up on some rubble so you don't get too wet, or you can sort of perch on the outside of the temple. Do your prayers, get your magic points back, and then continue down after that.
Yep.
Okay, good compromise.
Yep, I'm good.
Okay, so that's another D4 health back.
Okay.
2 more health points back.
Oh, you're so generous, James. You're so generous.
Yeah.
Look, this is a moon temple.
Then Yannick.
Also, moon's about.
Yeah. And Yannick does his prayers as the sun finishes setting and replenishes his magic points.
As part of that time, did you want to burn the
tapestry
that you've lugged up?
I know that I would agree with that. I would agree with that.
Yeah, it pass the time.
Make it a sacrifice to your gods. Or death, or whoever you
Yeah,
like it.
destroying something evil, and it'll help keep you warm.
As we've got the time, as a sympathy for prisoners, I would like to recover the bodies of the poor sods left in those cells.
Yeah.
And just lay them out somewhere clean.
Yeah. Okay.
Up top.
Yeah, you can do that. Right. And all that
Burning
done.
the tapestry makes me feel good about this waiting plan.
Yeah, it does help lift some of the sense of oppression that you've been getting from the whole place. But that done, you can then descend further. Right.
Yeah, I'm very, very glad that we've waited till after nightfall to descend into the most unholy place.
Yeah.
I just want to congratulate all of us on this plan.
And the tapestry of like a demon standing underneath the moon.
Yeah.
It's not going to be any darker down there, is it?
Let's wait till night.
You begin, increasingly cautiously, to make your way down a flight of cracked and rubble-choked steps towards this large black wooden door. Niches in the walls contain skeletal remains, and you realise you're passing through and into the charnel house of the temple. Reaching the door, you find it to be twisted within its frame and stained a little at the bottom. Water perhaps does seep into this lower level, and that's caused the wood to swell and twist in its frame. A heavy bar of black stone secures the door in place on your side, but you cannot read the fearsome sigils inlaid in silver along it. But they feel like warding sigils.
So what we know is that this was an extremely unpleasant place. Somebody came in and trashed the joint, and whoever it was that did in this foul cult sealed the door in some fashion with stone and silver.
Possibly
Should we
stone.
perhaps entertain the idea that they knew what they were doing?
But they probably did not have the capability to kill whatever's inside. I mean, I'm
That
assuming
seems-
it's the thing that you saw on the tapestry.
Yes. I completely agree that you would not seal a portal against something that you found easy to kill.
But we have the ability to kill it. We have these swords. We can finish off this evil once and for all.
Okay, so we will entertain that idea, but not be persuaded by it. Understood.
Well,
With
it's a good
our
point, Yannick. I mean, it's a good point. I mean, yeah, well made. Yeah, these swords that we have are of unimaginable power.
Fair enough.
with our wits and cunning is on our side. Let's tally for our smile.
Okay. So who wants to...
That said, though, I'm still suspicious about the fact that there's so many moons in this place, and there was a tapestry of like the demon thing underneath a moon, and we've waited until nighttime to go inside. Should we not wait until morning at this rate?
Or just...
Well, if we're not going to be daunted by the stone and the silver, should we then be daunted by mere speculation about the state of the moon? I mean,
That's true.
again, I'm just asking.
It just seems like such a mistake.
Does it look like the same moon in all the pictures we've seen of the moon? Is it always the same moon?
It's always the same
auspice?
gibbous moon.
Right. Okay.
What's the state of the moon at the moment?
Gibbous.
Oh fuck!
We've been traveling with sailors for some time. I assume that someone would have mentioned the state of the moon at some point.
Yeah.
Yes.
I assume with Sarah Lane being all suspicious, I was like looking at the moon when I was outside as well. Is what I'm suspecting.
Well, I'm pretty sure demons wouldn't have any power left with no priests to support them. So I think
It's currently
Good
a
on that.
waning crescent moon.
Oh, that's good.
Yes, let us all pretend to be reassured by this, since we're going in anyway.
Okay, so who's going to lift this stone bar aside?
I'll grab one side.
Yeah, I'll grab the other side, yeah.
Okay, well, Yannick's went first and touched the bar. What's Yannick's evasion?
Yannick's evasion is 3.
Okay. Okay, let's make sure I've got that right in my head. Okay, as you touch the bar, you hear a really sort of deep, resonant click sound, and then feel a rush of air as something starts to drop. You desperately throw yourself back and just barely escape a falling block of stone from the roof that would have crushed you, and it slams down in front of you and in front of the door.
does it block the door?
It doesn't block the door. It gets in the way slightly, but once you lift the bar, you should be able to get past, and you don't think there's any more blocks up there.
Doesn't say. A whole magazine of sliding stuff.
Whew.
You would have been
I'll
a
go
trigger
ahead.
soon.
Well, now that my adrenaline's up,
Yeah, that should help. Yeah,
Does
so
it?
this time, when you lift the bar, the door swings open.
With Yannick trying to change his underwear.
Beyond the door is...
Call me Sir Robin.
Beyond the door is unnatural pitch darkness. Lantern light seems to get absorbed by it. Do you wish to go onward anyway?
How does it feel like? Does it feel like it has been like released like a vacuum, or is it cold? Or
It's stifling velvety blackness.
So absorbed by it so that the light is dimmer, or absorbed by it so that there is literally total blackness?
It just kind of hits it and drops away a lot quicker, so that you can't really see the light any further than the reach of your arm.
Well, the reach of my arm is being extended by the length of my sword, because the sword is definitely going first.
Okay. So, sort of huddle together and move in. A short corridor in this unnatural darkness brings you to a steep staircase that winds up inexorably without doors or windows. The air is stifling, your footfalls echo in an eerie quiet. Do you wish to ascend?
Yes. Well, I'm
Your
going
choices are ascend or go back, yeah?
Yep.
Can we actually see each other in this darkness, or
Can you what, sorry?
can we actually see ourselves?
You can see each other, yeah, as long as you stay very close.
Okay. Okay. Well, if you're gonna die, you're gonna die. I'll leave.
Yeah.
I suppose Becca and I would
Okay.
go first.
Yeah.
Because we're the tanky
All right.
ones.
You mount the
Checking the
stairs.
Zentra.
Unlike
checking
most
the-
of the
If back
most of
is
the other
okay with
stairs that you've encountered, these seem solid enough. But as you ascend and as the sort of darkness closes in around you, you get this weird feeling like if you went down, it wouldn't go anywhere anymore. You get pushed on up and up and up. You should have reached the surface by now, and you're still climbing. Eventually, with your legs aching from the climb and your breaths coming in tortured gasps, towards the end of your strength, the darkness seems to ease back, and suddenly you're in a clear, circular room. Moonlight streams in through wide windows, even though you know there's barely any moon outside tonight. You feel disoriented. You can't be sure how long it was since you walked through that portal and drew open the door. Ringing the room are 12 chairs, whose high carved backs are etched with symbols of the moon in its various phases. A pattern of lines and symbols covers the floor, as if some strange arcane game is being played here. There are wooden playing pieces that seem to represent men and beasts and cities and forests and things that are beyond your comprehension, and they seem to be scattered randomly across the pattern.
Does the phase of the moon, of the light coming through the window, match the one that we left?
No.
We're not sure how long ago?
No.
Aha.
It seems to be the gibbous moon that you've seen elsewhere,
Yeah, I know.
mostly in the place. But every phase of the moon is represented around these chairs.
What do the beasts look like, James?
Some of them are familiar. Some of them look like the dogs, the moon dogs. Becca's probably the one who's going to most easily understand what they are. Like, that's a bear, that's a snake. Don't know what that is. Yeah, some of them are more outlandish and fantastical beasts.
Are they all made from the same stone or materials?
They're made from all kinds of different materials.
Oh, okay.
Some of them are carved from gemstones.
Chinese.
Is the door still open behind us? Can we still leave?
Hang on a sec.
Always secure the exit.
No. The stairs and the door to them appear to have vanished.
Joy.
There doesn't seem to be any way out.
I would like to look at the chairs, paying special attention to the chair that matches the current phase of the moon.
Okay. The chairs are high-backed, similar to the ones that nobles today will sit in, sort of privileged seats in church. But they have armrests, leather seats. The face of the moon is in silver on the back. Some of them have dust and scraps of cloth on them.
looking around at the windows where the moonlight's coming in.
Mm-hmm.
Can they be opened?
No, it does not appear so.
I'm just pacing around with my sword, looking for something.
What's
Come out.
Madrock's intelligence?
14.
You notice that the dimensions of the interior of this seem to somewhat match the size and shape of the obelisk in the centre of the courtyard.
Huh. I'll if I can make that not seem spooky and scary, I will tell the others.
How do you go about that?
I'm not sure, but my character is much, much smarter than I am. So
I know where we are.
And
Not to worry, fellows. We're in the obelisk.
yeah, we
And the
haven't
obelisk-
gone far. That's the ticket.
And the obelisk is nowhere near the temple.
Yeah,
So, yeah.
and nowhere near the way you walked.
The stairs were designed by bloody stupid Johnson. It's a Terry Pratchett reference.
Nice.
Does
So
appear
a
to be
game is being played. Is there any indication of, for example, how the game is played, or whose move it is, or?
No.
Okay.
Nothing. It's just this weird board with all these pieces, and these chairs around it.
Are they life-size figures, James?
No, they're 2 to 3 inches tall. Most of them.
Right.
Some bigger, some smaller.
Any other doors by the way we came in?
That's not there either. There are no doors.
Yeah, disappeared.
Well, my legs are very tired from that climb. I was informed.
Yep.
So I'm going to do something rash and sit down and rest them. Let's say just for grins, that the chair that I happen to pick to rest my legs in is the one that matches the phase of the moon that I remember from earlier this evening when we were looking at it.
Right. You take a seat, and it's so good to get your weight off your legs. You stare at the patterns and playing pieces on the floor before you, but any sense of what it means eludes you. When you look up again, you can't see any of your companions. Through a window opposite you, you can see the citadel as it once was, perhaps, in the past. Your eyes water slightly without reason, and when you blink, a gaunt figure seems to shimmer from the moonlight and steps towards you. He's a tall, regal, bald man in long, pale robes, inscribed with the phases of the moon. "Welcome to Kavala's game," he tells you. Now, the rest of you, a change comes over Yannick as he sits down. He turns grey and insubstantial, like a ghost. He seems to pay no attention to you, staring at the board in front of him, white knuckles gripping the arms of the chair. In that same instant, you sense a presence behind you. A tall figure in pale robes stands there. This man's as grey as a ghoul, pale and dead-seeming. His face is thin and aristocratic. His head is bald. He wears a long, pale cloak with the faces of the moon on it, and a silver collar around his throat. He gestures towards your friend and says, "What will you give to free your companion?"
Sisora, what did you do now?
Don't look at me. I've done nothing wrong for a change. I've been a good boy for a change.
So I'll stick with the guys who aren't in the other world at the moment. So yes, this figure stands there, and gestures to Yannick.
I will give you your life.
I already have my life.
What is it you bequeath?
I'm insinuating that I would kill you. You know, it's an analogy.
Then strike.
Just look back at Becker and like, all right.
May I be able to persuade you into a counter offer? You could let us go unharmed, and that way you don't have to spend an eternity with us. Just a thought.
I have my game to occupy me, and I now have a new player to occupy me.
Oh, Jim, can I ask a question?
Yep.
I found an enchanted sword when we were in Hobsdale.
Yep.
That's not on my sheet anymore. But
should be.
But if I have that, so I could. That was the silver handled.
Didn't you trade it back to Bjorn?
No, that was when I found two swords. One with a fake pommel, and one.
Can we have both of them?
Yeah, that looked similar.
So I was watching.
Yeah, it is on your sheet. Yeah. It's in your hut at home.
I left it at home. Oh.
Yeah.
Never mind.
Don't give him anything. We don't make deals with apparitions.
Well, I quite like Yannick. It's a shame. Don't want to lose him.
Well, now, if
then
someone's
wait.
offering a deal,
then wait, he says, and disappears. Okay, meanwhile, in the other world...
yes?
Right. Yes, this strange man, Kavala, takes a seat opposite you and says, I'm feeling generous. Take the first move.
My first move would be to compliment you on the loyalty of your retainer. The guardian of the portal was a true gentleman who seemed to serve your interests well.
He seems confused. I have no retainers left.
Well, confused or not, he seemed to hold to an oath.
Still, as this sort of thought of respect towards Kavala manifests, what's your intelligence?
My intelligence is 13.
Okay, so yeah, as that thought sort of manifests in your mind, some of the pieces on the board move in response to your thoughts, and each one that moves causes changes in other ones, and the whole board seems to shift in an incredibly complex way. But you think you're starting to get some kind of handle on how the game works. He seems surprised, then excited, and leans forward and considers the board carefully. Meanwhile, in the other world, a whole day passes. So you lose some rations, and you're probably just about out of water by this point. And Kavala appears again. Your friend is very interesting. A good player, I think. So I'm perfectly happy to keep him here, and to keep you here. Unless you've changed your mind and wish to make me an offer.
I may have changed my mind.
Bored now.
What is it that you want?
What will you offer me?
We've had a whole day to
think
about this, haven't we?
He doesn't seem to want for food or water himself. He seems to not fear arms. You think something significantly magical would probably change his mind?
What's the most magical things that we have?
Our swords.
The Valander swords. Yeah.
Right. We've got a magical ring, we've got a staff, we've got a drum, We've got a chalice.
Yeah.
I was thinking the chalice.
See if he'll accept the staff.
Okay. I'll offer him the chalice.
From
the one with the Northern Star.
Okay.
Shiny.
A bauble. Used by our sailors long ago. This does not interest me.
Fair enough. Then I'll show him the star.
The priests are beyond such concerns.
Fair dues.
Though I would sleep outdoors if I were you.
Oh, no. Who's got the drum?
Me. Well, offer the drum.
We brought that with us when we settled here. I have no interest in it.
The Silver Moon. I'll show him that.
The Silver Moon.
Mm.
He shakes his head.
The thing. Yeah.
You bear blades of an ancient power. I would take one of those, or charge you to discover something similar for me.
Do I get my hit points when I cast a day's rest, James, or do I still feel sore?
You get a health point back, yeah.
Oh, you're so kind yet again.
Yeah.
I have my Weetabix and I only get one hit point. Oh, you're so generous.
I'll give you another day to think about it. And he vanishes again. Meanwhile, in the other world, apparently only minutes have passed. Your move again.
Well, if I'm just barely getting a handle on the game, then the first positive move that I made was to compliment the Lord and show him some sort of respect.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to follow that train of thought and do my best to consider the board from the Lord's perspective.
Mm-hmm.
And make the move that seems logical for him to make next. If you understand what I'm saying.
Yeah. It seems like a good train of thought, and mirroring your opponent is usually a good move in a lot of board games. A piece that appears to be a castle manifests itself on your side of the board in the center, but the knock-on effect seems to be negative. You can't quite put your finger on why, but the cumulative effect on the board seems to strengthen the position of your opponent. He laughs and shakes his head. You have to play the game as yourself. And he reaches out a finger and moves a red knight with the power of his thought, so sort of gesturing towards it. And again, the board shifts. You get the feeling that you've been knocked back on the back foot. Okay. Meanwhile, another day has passed in the outer world. You have run out of water now. Lose another set of rations. And he appears again. So you've had a whole day to consider, so keep that in mind.
So, what do you actually request, except for one of our shinies?
Something worthy.
A sacrifice?
If I may interject, could we sort of backtrack to the day where we had to talk amongst ourselves to go over a plan? So he did offer us a get out plan, didn't he?
Yeah.
He did.
Yeah.
I know.
He wants a Valender sword. It's certainly it'd be a very honourable and chivalrous act, said Elaine, to surrender your sword of Valander to save one of our companions.
Sorry.
Honourable beyond measure.
Without the Valander sword, we can't fight the things we were set out to fight in the first place. It's useless.
And this guy's got a home right in the middle of a demon worshipping city. giving him such an item, I can't imagine would be good.
I mean, you're a warlock, and how often do you even use yours?
No, I think the warlock's in the game, isn't he?
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
shit! Wait, that means his sword isn't still in the sheath.
He's out of phase, though. You can't touch him.
Oh no!
Well, then let's accept a quest. He's offered us a quest, isn't he? So let's just accept that.
Just have to accept it.
The lesser of two evils.
I mean, unless we actually trying to kill him, but the way that he offered me to kill him made me think he's out of phase, whatever that means.
Well, I'm just a simple barbarian, but he appears to be some sort of demigod or like archmage.
I don't think we'll be able to kill him.
So
let's accept the quest.
So we skip back forward again. Yeah. Very well. If you won't give up your blades, you must find a blade for me. The legendary sword of the long-dead king, Ildir, the Pendragon. And once you retrieve that for me, I will release your friend from the game.
Our chances of success are greatly increased with him amongst our number.
Nonetheless, he provides the motivation you need to complete the task.
I think
that's me, the engine of progress.
You have no option but to accept.
Well,
do you all agree?
Given, I don't believe Sir Elaine would allow us to break our word, even if we wished it.
True. Do you agree?
Aye.
Yeah.
Aye.
He waves his hand. There's a flash of light, and you appear outside. On your left wrist, each of you, is a silver torque, carved in the same style as the Moondogs and everything else. Some kind of bond for your word.
Mm-hmm.
But you're now free. However, Yannick is still stuck playing the game, at least for now. And when I run the next game, you can go and try and retrieve Ildir the Pendragon's sword, or whoever's available to play can, at least, anyway.
And find out a way to stab this guy in the back.
So you return to the ship. It takes 2 more days to render the Linden seaworthy, and then carries on about its mission. The Baron doesn't tithe the treasure that you took in respect of your lost comrade, and instructs his retainers to take word back to the barony and begin research to find out where Ildir the Pendragon's sword is. So that brings our game to a close. I will do experience points and boost up characters. I'm gonna aim to do another session Tuesday in the week, about the same sort of time, if anyone's free then.
Sadly, I can't do. I'm actually running.
Yeah, but yeah, keep an eye out on my social media and stuff. I'll be doing other sessions and stuff.
I look forward to watching it.
All right.
In my downtime, James, is there any way of finding out what the staff does and the ring?
Yeah, I've got a note down here of everything that people have got. So yeah, I'll do all that in downtime and level up the characters if it comes to that.
Okay, that was a good show, James. I enjoyed that.
Cool.
It was really fun.
Yes, thanks.
Yeah, thanks, gents. Good to meet you all.
Yeah.
Yep.
Likewise.
Take care, everyone, and goodbye, people who are.
See you next time.
Later.
Cheers.
Later.
And goodbye.